Hi everybody, this is Mike Griggs for 3D World magazine, and today for our Bootcamp article I'm going to look at Trypogen for Cinema 4D. This is just going to be a quick tutorial. Trypogen is a tool that can allow you to create incredible features and forms like this really quickly. So let's have a look at how we do this now. So here we are in Cinema 4D, and let's make just a normal platonic sphere. And then it's just a case of dropping in a Trypogen and making the sphere a child of the Trypogen, and there we go. Job done. Now there's a lot of customization available within this. We can adjust our edges. We can increase our variation of the scale of the size, and we can increase the thickness, so that's almost like a bevel. So already create quite a different type shape, but we can also define how we want this to look. So it could just be based on our edges. We can do it just on the polygons. So there we go. As you can see, we've got multiple objects created really quickly. We can also just do that, which leaves a skin over a base, and combined thickness, which is polygons on the edges, and double extrusion, which creates these really sort of interesting effects. Now, all of these again are editable with some other tools. So if we use subdivision editor, we can increase the smoothness. Now I find this quite good for creating more mechanical type of shapes. So there we go. We want to create more complicated geometry. I'm just going to switch my SSAO on, just gives a bit more definition. And then again, we can adjust our variation and our offset with this to create different extrusion shapes. And again, this, as it's a Cinema 4D object, this will work with MoGraph and various deformers and fall-offs, etc. It's an incredibly powerful tool. So there we go, we've turned that, and as you can see, everything is live, so we can animate all these properties. If I want to change the type of element to a different geometry type, as you can see, we're getting really interesting effects here. Now, where this becomes really powerful is that Trypogen, if we change it back to edges, for example, can work with multiple objects. So if I create another sphere and just pull that out, and then go back to Trypogen and then adjust our weld, as you can see, the two objects are starting to fuse together. Now, it's a bit hit or miss as to whether or not you're going to get an exact shape that you like, but in terms of being able to quickly model something, Trypogen, in this kind of style, Trypogen is by far and away the easiest way of doing that. And let's increase our subdivision again so that we, oh yeah, that's quite nice. We're going to see you've got slight hard edges with increasing the linear just on there. And again, this will all render as per what you're seeing in the viewport if you copy across from the subdivision editor there. And again, we can adjust our angle. So if I'm just going to get rid of this first sphere so you can see what that's doing. Oh, let's go back. Let's just try. Let's reduce our reduction. Oh, why is that not working? Probably because I have it set on a wrong setting somewhere. That's the one good, it's not a problem, it's a good thing about Trypogen is that you can sort of lose yourself. There we go. So it's the angle of how it's subdividing, and as you can see, we've got an incredibly complex shape, and I must have been recording for 2 minutes to model something like that. Even using the volume modeling tools within Cinema 4D would take you quite a long time, and also especially if you wanted to get this sort of nice variation on the edges. And as we can see, we can extend that. We can adjust our subdivision again to really start to work in on these beveled points. So that's absolutely great, but it's not just primitives that Trypogen works on. As you can see, it works on multiple objects. We also, let's see what other examples we have here. Here we have let's just switch the dinosaur off for a second. Here we have 3 planes, and as we can see, just by using the merge tool, and we'll just increase the smoothness on that a bit, I'm able to move these planes and create really interesting connection shapes by using the weld again. And that will, I think it might just be missing on the subdivision element. Yeah, there we go. So again, really unique shape. So we'll switch this off and switch on our dinosaur. So it works with just normal polygon objects as well. It doesn't have to be Cinema 4D's native elements. So here we go. Again, we could adjust the depth on that, and there's nothing to say that you couldn't have a dinosaur like that, and a dinosaur like, let's go back to our edges. Yeah, and as you can see, everything is nice and quick to update. Now, and so the logical conclusion is that's great for still objects, but what about animation? Well, here is just a standard Mixamo bang bang walking cycle. And with Trypogen, that applies to all the objects in here. I've got it set on polygon, and the feedback on this is quite slow because it's quite dense mesh. So what I have done is I've just done just cached out an animation for you to look at. So as you can see, if I just pause this and go through this frame by frame, there's a little bit of variation in the shapes, but that could be something that you are looking for, especially if, for example, if you were creating a science fiction alien or robot or something like that. But to actually create this and animate this and model all of this without a tool like Trypogen would be days or weeks worth of work. So I hope that you can see that Trypogen is really useful for this kind of advanced modeling techniques. It gives you styles of modeling that you potentially would not necessarily have if you were new to 3D. The cost of it is, I don't think it's that bad actually. Yeah, it's $30. I mean, it is an absolute bargain. So yeah, this is Mike Griggs for 3D World and our Bootcamp series, and this has been Trypogen, and I hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll do more videos soon.